Hello, welcome to See What Sticks, a podcast about everything and nothing. I am Russell.
And I am Emma, and Merry Christmas to all of you lovely people.
This is a Christmas episode. Actually, we're recording this on Christmas, so it's going to come out a little bit late because Christmas is on Monday.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
You're probably going to have to pay for that because I think
No.
someone owns that. Okay, so for our special Christmas episode, we thought that we would take a stab at some of our favorite Christmas traditions and some of our least favorite Christmas traditions just personally.
All right, so for one of my very favorite Christmas traditions, I think a lot of people actually do it, but you always get to open one gift on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, no,
That's like a thing. I totally love that. Honestly, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, that's one of the best where you get to just pick one of them that you get from somebody.
You're so worried you're gonna not like. You want the biggest one, and you're never allowed to pick the biggest one either.
Well, even if you pick the biggest one, sometimes it's not the best one. Just because it's in a big box doesn't mean it's like the best gift.
Yeah, but when you're a little kid, that doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I want the big one.
The big one. You're never allowed to do it when you're a little kid. You always have to get the smaller ones, and it's so disappointing.
Or or you have to get like one from a relative, which are usually good gifts, but it's not like the ones you want because they don't always know what you want.
I know, my relatives are always like the best about that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've actually always gotten lucky with it, but there's a few that I'm like, ooh, I really want this for Christmas, but I don't think they'll know I want this for Christmas. So, I mean, it's always something really cool, but I'm just like, oh, wow, I didn't even know I wanted this until you get it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty obvious.
I would say another favorite one of mine is we always play bingo on Christmas Eve.
Really?
Oh, it's super competitive bingo, too. And we always have, like, a bag. It's, like, literally just, like, a trash bag of, like, little tiny pre-wrapped gifts from, like, everyone that comes.
Uh-huh.
And they're anything from, like, super cool gifts, like gift cards and things, to, like, crazy gag gifts. Like, last year, my family and I donated some to the bag, and they were, like, gag gifts. And so last year, like, Elf on a Shelf was huge, and so to like kind of make fun of that, we got one of those like dollar store Barbies, and we like put a bunch of stuff all over and pretty much called her Whore in a Drawer instead of Elf on a Shelf. It was very entertaining to watch. And then we have a Shave With Me Barbie. We cut some of her hair off and like glued it to her legs.
I was there for that.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Those are really fun.
I think so if we're just talking Christmas Eve first, I think most of the time for holidays, for Christmas Eve, maybe we went to cousins' houses. No, usually Christmas Eve for my family, we did it at our own house. And then the next morning we would drive to a cousin's house or what have you. And then, or if we were hosting Christmas the next morning, we'd kind of prep for all the people coming over and cook. My dad bakes a lot, so make cookies, pies, all that stuff. And my mom is more the chef. So she would do like different roasts or turkey or chicken or something. So that was always kind of a Christmas tradition, just not on the gift side. But for a lot of them, for a lot of Christmases, I wasn't there. I wasn't home. Mm-hmm. So from like freshman year of high school till like college, I sailed really competitively. So I was in Miami for this event called Orange Bowl. So we left on like Christmas Eve. So Christmas was spent for me like on an airplane or something. So, yeah, it was different. So I didn't really get a whole lot of Christmases there. But, like, I had Christmas, but it wasn't, like, at home. So it wasn't the same kind of gig.
Yeah.
So what is your least favorite Christmas tradition?
That's really hard for me because I don't really have very many, like, quote-unquote least favorite traditions.
Or what's one thing about Christmas that you, like, dread? Or you're like, oh, no.
Honestly, how pissy people get. Like, just out and about. Like, I understand that...
People in your family?
Huh?
People in your family?
No, just general public. Like, that stuff just drives me bonkers because it's like, I understand you're stressed, but the rest of us are here trying to have a good time and buying some Christmas gifts, and you're just making everybody real miserable. Like, just getting really, like, shitty towards, like, retail workers over stuff that they can't even control, or you're, like, pissed because you waited till December 24th for this one, like, super hot item and you can't find it anywhere. And I'm like, that's not their fault. Like, that's your own fault for being, like,
not prepared.
Lazy, unprepared. I mean, I understand, like, finances stuff can be hard, but, like, Man, you gotta prepare. Christmas is like, that's like a year-round kind of preparation thing. Like, I'm already thinking about next year's Christmas, so it's like...
No, I understand. So,
it's an intense holiday.
You're, like, stressed with, like, just society and how...
Society's being a dickweed about everything.
Yeah,
like, honestly, this just makes me so mad.
Just, like, people who are, like, taking the holiday the wrong way and just using it as, like, a negative thing.
Yeah, because they're just like, I gotta have presents for all these people. And I'm like, why are you buying presents for these people if you don't like them that much?
I mean, it's not really about presents either.
It's not, but that's what it is anymore in society. I mean, think about it.
No, yeah, it's definitely like, I have to get this person this thing, otherwise there's going to be this issue. And I think, it's obnoxious.
It is very obnoxious.
Yeah.
Also, it's like everybody's tree has to look like phenomenal. It's just like a whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my Chris pine tree looks pretty incredible.
It is pretty incredible.
So for those of you who don't know, I don't think I actually talked about it in the podcast, but I have a Chris pine tree, and it's a small Christmas tree. It's like a half-size Christmas tree in my apartment, even though we have a full one as well. But I have a bunch of pictures of Chris pine on it, besides ornaments, and I call it my Chris pine tree. Just because I think it's funny. But I think one of my favorite Christmas traditions, it's like my favorite but least favorite, but just a joke one, is my dad actually likes to run a lot. He's like a runner. And for every holiday, he decides to go running 15 minutes before we're going to go leave. And he goes like 4 miles. So he doesn't run 4 miles in 15 minutes. So we're always like late, or my dad drives separately because he went running. So it's just, you can expect that my dad's going to show up separately or late because he's like, I got to go running. And for some reason, he always decides right before we have to like get going to go running or take the dogs running.
Your dad is like the most I don't want to like be social today kind of dude. His actual Christmas present for me was a shirt that says, "Sorry, I'm late. I don't want to come."
Yeah,
I didn't want to come.
Yeah, hilarious. I mean, he likes going, but I think it's just and if he's listening to this, we all know. We know why you're late.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a joke, but oh boy. Oh, so we're also going to talk. We talked last week about Christmas movies and some of our favorite stuff with that. But what is your favorite Christmas movie to watch on Christmas?
Elf.
Really?
I know that's like the total unoriginal answer, but yes, Elf. I don't know. Like, I like other Christmas movies, but they're kind of cheesy to me because, like, I understand it's all about family and love and all that, but like all of these Christmas movies are kind of about the same thing. So that's why I like Elf, because it's just like, it was one of the more so like, it started kind of the not all Christmas movies have to be like la 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 kind of thing. Like, it was funny and it made it like enjoyable and true. Like, so much of the like Christmas holiday is just so
it's like, it's looking at Christmas from an outsider's point of view on how the world celebrates, or how New York celebrates Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, the end is when it's like, believe in Santa kind of thing, but that's like a kid thing. Like, yeah, you kind of got to go with that too, but it's just funny. That's like, it's kind of changed the tune for Christmas movies. And yes, I know all of you are like, but what about Die Hard and Gremlins and all those? I understand that. Yeah,
I mean, she said that because on one of the computer screens that we have up, I have a list of Christmas movies, and it's like Miracle on 34th Street, The Holiday, which I don't think I've seen. I didn't even know that's one. But apparently Jack Black is in it.
I watched Love Actually.
Yeah, Love Actually is a really good movie.
I think I may have seen that one. No, I saw New Year's. What was all the huge cast?
Any movie?
Well, no. I mean, I'm like, a lot of big names are in it. I think it was either New Year's or it may have been Love Actually.
Love Actually has like 15 really big people.
Yeah, and it was one of them where they got stuck in the elevator. Or was that New Year's? I think that was New Year's.
Oh. Well, you know the guy from The Walking Dead who's like, Carl, where's Carl? That guy? He's in Love Actually. That actor is.
We need to watch that movie.
Which one? Love Actually?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen bits and pieces of it at different times. So up on this list is also Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, but the Jim Carrey one. I thought that movie was dumb. I love the cartoon, like the 50s cartoon or whatever. Or maybe it was later. I don't know.
The Grinch always made me really sad. Like, the whole movie, even at the very end.
It's a very depressing story.
Yes. Oh, no. Another, like, all-time favorite is Polar Express.
Okay, so I've said this before, and I'll say it again about the Polar Express. It's actually a really good movie with a whole good premise about, like, the first gift of Christmas, and it's about more than that. It's about, like, family and stuff. But the CGI wasn't 100% there. It was like 95. So all the characters are weird, rubbery, soulless, dead-eyed people.
See, I don't know. To me, like, I understand you say it's not all there, but part of me thinks that that's just like what they wanted to do, and I kind of I like different.
It's very storybook kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I like all the different styles because it just makes it unique, and I think that's what causes people to pick Polar Express out from the list because of how unique it is with its animation, because it's just so different.
Yeah, I know how. Sorry, I'm scooting around if people can hear that. So you know how Tom Hanks is the bus driver, or the train driver. Is he also Santa?
I can't remember if he was Santa's voice or no. I don't think he was, because Santa had a very Tom Hanks has a big booming voice.
You know what?
But,
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
it's up here right now. So I'm just looking at Polar Express. I'm gonna go on IMDb right now and look up the cast.
Everyone's probably like, duh.
Director Robert Zemeckis. So Tom Hanks is Santa as well.
Santa.
He's
Okay.
wow.
Oh,
He's Hero Boy. I don't know who that is. The father, the conductor,
the hobo.
Oh, he's interesting. Scrooge.
Wait,
there's a Scrooge in the movie.
Yes, it's the puppet. Remember, he's going through the puppet car and all the little marionettes are hanging. Yeah, that's Scrooge. And then Santa.
And then Leslie Zemeckis, who I'm assuming is Robert Zemeckis' wife, is Sister Sarah and Mother. And then Eddie Deason is Know-It-All. I don't know. Some of these names I don't really know.
The Know-It-All is like the kid in the yellow shirt. That's like.
Oh. Is he the allergy kid?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the kid who's allergic to peanut butter kind of kid.
Okay, now you're just totally offended.
I'm sorry, but we all know that kid in school who's the kid who's allergic to everything kid. We all had one.
You mean the know-it-all kid? Because
it's always the same person.
What he is. Yeah, he's just like.
And I'm sorry if we offended you. If you are either of those two things,
they can't help peanut allergies.
You can't help peanut allergies.
You can help being an asshole.
Yeah. But I just clicked on the Muppet Christmas Carol. I'm sure everyone in this can hear me moving the mouse. Actually, we got a new mic, so hopefully we sound a little better and less staticky.
Probably. Let's hope so. But also, you probably don't have to explain to them every time you move. They're probably like, I don't really care.
Okay, well...
Because you're like, I moved an inch, and they're probably like, oh, okay.
But I just looked up the Muppet Christmas Carol, which was on yesterday, and I totally forgot that movie and how fantastic it is. But the Muppet Christmas Carol might be the best version of that movie, or best version of that story, rather. It's just so funny and so heartwarming, and it's just like all these like people doing the puppeteering, and that just makes it like, oh my god, how many people are doing this right now? And it comes together so perfectly.
I also like Christmas with the Cranks.
Christmas with the Cranks. Is that the one where they're trying to find the turkey in the grocery store and there's like
the ham?
Yeah.
Truck. Yeah, that one's just funny to me. Like they go tanning and then like the priest comes up and they're like naked pretty much in the mall. Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, Christmas with the Cranks. Why is Batman Returns on here? Is it the 80s?
It's probably because like his
maybe
his parents get shot during Christmas time.
Maybe. I honestly have not seen the 90s Batmans in forever.
I think they get shot around Christmas.
Oh. If they don't, I'm sorry. I'm not a huge Batman fan.
What did you think of Frosty the Snowman growing up?
So sad.
Yeah, that one was one of those, like, for some reason our parents grew up in such a sad movie kind of, like, world.
The Rudolph claymation anime
creeps me out.
The snow monster thing is like a Wampa from Star Wars, but evil. Because the Wampa from Star Wars is just an animal trying to do
It's just like when it
thing.
grabs like from behind the like mountain or whatever, and you can see his hand. We all are like getting the hair on the back of your neck standing up because that always just bothered me so much as a child. I don't know why. Yeah,
there's some of these movies that I haven't seen or didn't even like associate with Christmas, even though they're 100% Christmas movies. Oh yeah, Lethal Weapon 1 is kind of a Christmas movie because it ends on Christmas.
Well, we're starting to get into some
Santa Claus. Four Christmases. A Very Murray Christmas. I think that's a holiday. That's a Netflix special, I guess, for stand up.
that's interesting.
The Christmas Carol, the Jim Carrey one. Didn't see that either.
Black Christmas. I don't think that's 1974. I don't think I saw that.
Yeah. I haven't seen this. It's the Seth Rogen one, The Night Before.
Oh, I want to see that.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang's a really good movie. Yeah. Four Christmases. That's a good one.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's with Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon, and they're trying to go and like escape to go to like Hawaii or something, and they get like interviewed on TV. It's like, oh my god, where are you going for holidays? And they've told all the people in their family that they're going to someone else, and they figure out so they have to go see both sides of each family in like 2 days, and it turns into like a drama.
Just madness. I want to see that. This one's funny. We should watch
Home Alone. Okay, I'm gonna get into Home Alone. I'm gonna tear this apart. It's like a classic or whatever. It's actually filmed in the suburbs of Chicago. I guess it's a classic, but okay. Joe Pesci and the other dude as the robbers. One, it doesn't hold up. Two, Macaulay Culkin or Kevin is just, he sets these booby traps, and some of them are like he ices the stairs and he has like the paint can. That would kill you. If you get hit in the head with like a full paint can and fall down a flight of stairs.
I don't know how to kill you. It'd definitely send you to the hospital. You probably couldn't get up.
Yeah, and then he has like broken glass on the floor with all the ornaments and just all this stuff. And I'm just, I don't know.
Again, okay, so I haven't seen this movie since I was like really like young.
Okay, so
like,
what
happens? How
happens?
did they get left at home again?
So his family's like going to Paris for Christmas, and there's like, they have a bunch of kids, right? They have like 10 kids, and for some reason, like, they all get mad at him because he's like the younger one, and he's just down on his luck.
Okay.
And he like says this thing where he's like, I wish that like my family would just go away. And then their family's getting ready for Christmas and they're packing the car up to go to the airport, and the like neighbor kid is like digging through the car, just kind of thing, and they think it's Kevin, so they pack up the car with the neighbor kid instead of Kevin, and he's like asleep or something. He's like out of the picture in the house, and then they all leave, and then they're in the airport, like their connecting flight, and the mom is like, Kevin! And then you just see Macaulay Culkin doing like the shaving thing with the aftershave on his face, and he freaks out. And it's kind of a good story where it's like, family's really important, and it's all what Christmas is about, and it's not worth it if you're not like with the people you love.
Yeah.
Which is a good meaning, but it does not hold up. And I know there's people out there and that's their favorite Christmas movie, and we're like shitting all over it.
Yeah.
And if you love that movie, you love it. But I watched it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, this does not hold up. But It's a Wonderful Life was on last night. That movie still holds up. And so let's talk Elf.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Emma's texting right now. And
Oh,
it's just getting in the way of the podcast. Okay, so Elf. I didn't realize until very recently that the female, like the love interest, is Zooey Deschanel, because she's blonde.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Oh.
And I was watching recently. I'm like, oh my god, that's Zooey Deschanel.
What's your favorite scene of Elf?
I think we talked about this on the last podcast. We've talked about this on another podcast, but my two favorite scenes. It's when he's in the department store. It's when he's in Gimbel's, but where he first meets his boss, and the boss is like, "There's no singing in the North Pole," and Buddy's like, "Yes, there is." He's like, "No, there's not." "Yes, there is." And then it was like, "I'm in a store and I'm singing," like that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then where he beats the shit out of Santa, like the department store Santa.
Yeah.
That is probably. It's just so funny.
I think him trying to hug the raccoon is one of my favorite parts.
Oh.
Because it's just such a thing.
Wait, when he's what?
Trying to hug the raccoon.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh, come here, buddy, you need a hug. And I'm like, oh, no.
That scene, and when the boss, like, Santa's coming to town, he's like, Santa!
It just makes me laugh because it's definitely how all of us wanted to act at some point in our life or another. I mean, I guess if you didn't, that's fine, but that's definitely me at some point.
He's like, Santa! The best because he actually knows Santa.
It's like, I know him.
Yeah, it's like, I know him, and they're like, cool, dude.
He's definitely that one coworker. We've all had one like him.
It's like, cool, man. Okay, so I showed Emma Gremlins because it's on this list. What did you think of Gremlins?
I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's definitely its own realm.
They're remaking it. Because Gremlins
Really?
it was an 80s quasi horror comedy, but I think they're remaking it like 2018. And I feel like the new version, they're going to get really scary with it. Like I know It came out this year. Mm-hmm. The movie It. Mm-hmm. And the original one with what's his name? Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's let's look up the original It because Tim Curry.
Yes.
And that one like scared me when I was a little kid and saw it. Mm-hmm. But the one with Stellan Skarsgård, or which Skarsgård is it? It's not Stellan. It's I I know I'm really bad today about all of this stuff. Like, everyone is screaming at the mic, but a Bill Skarsgård. And it was legitimately scary. I think the Gremlins is going to do the same thing, where the old one was like, yeah, there's scary scenes, there's a few jump scares, but it's kind of like goofy and it's puppets.
Yeah.
But I think the new one, they're going to go for like Chucky, like horror with a few jokes.
Even back for its time, Chucky was a little creepy. It's still very
I've
creepy
never
to
seen
me.
Chucky.
I have watched them, and they are very creepy for the time. I mean, yeah, I get it. It's goofy because it's a doll, but like, they're pretty sick for like the time that they came out. I mean, compared to other horror movies, it was definitely kind of in its own world.
Really?
Yeah, I would say so.
I feel like it's one of those I should watch, but it's one of those you just never go back.
It creeps people out.
Really?
I mean, it does. Even today, I think it creeps younger people out, like younger kids, but...
Okay, so since it's the end of the year as well, and we talked about Christmas, what are some of the favorite gifts you've gotten for Christmas? And then we'll go into, like, a wrap-up of the year, like highlights.
Ooh, okay. So when my dad was deployed to Iraq, my mom and dad surprised me with an American Girl doll. And
which one was it? Not that I know anything about it,
but
for people listening.
It was Marisol. She was like this
New
Yorker. Yeah, she's like this New Yorker hipster kind of like. That was before hipster was a thing too. She wore like beanies and stuff. She was so cool to me.
Marisol American. Is this the one?
Yes, and she was like super cool. She had like cargo pants. That was when like that style was in, and I totally just was so excited about her. And so surprising with her. That's probably the first time I've actually cried over a Christmas gift. Like,
really?
Yeah, I think I was 8 or 9. And
That's
she
pretty
was
awesome.
the coolest. And then my second one was Jess. She was like an Amazonian kind of girl, and she was super fun.
I'm gonna look this up as well. Sorry, I'm just looking these things up because I have to
The Bitty Babies are like what your cousin got.
Yeah,
That's like the little kid version of these. This is the same company.
Oh,
yeah. So this is Jess. She was like an Islander kind of.
Very
girl.
cool.
Yep, and then you could get the ones that are made to look like you.
What?
Yeah,
you can get a customized one.
Yeah, that's why Rosie,
your
cousin's little girl,
yeah,
little
Kate.
baby, that's why Rosie has red hair because she's supposed to look like.
Oh,
yeah, so she has the same eye color and everything.
I didn't know that. I thought
Yeah.
it was just like they coincidentally found
These
something
dolls
that worked.
are so expensive.
Yeah, no, I
They're
heard
very,
they
very
were
pricey.
expensive.
That was probably one of my favorite Christmas gifts, and then, I mean, honestly, every year I've always just gotten some like amazing Christmas gifts from my family. So
Yeah,
I can't really.
just
I mean, there
going
really isn't
all
a year
out.
that never like I've never had a year that wasn't. I don't think
Yeah.
amazing, but I guess I'm also like, if you take the time to even get me like a quarter, I'm probably going to be totally stoked. So.
Yeah, it's like the thought that counts.
Yeah, I've never had a bad Christmas. They've always been amazing.
No,
So,
yeah,
I mean,
I've never had a bad Christmas.
My
either.
family's just absolutely amazing about finding stuff that.
Yeah, and like finding
I
stuff that like you
love.
want, but other things that you didn't even know you wanted.
But they know so well that that's like something that you would like, and I think that's that's probably my favorite part about Christmas is not really getting the stuff that I said I wanted, but like getting and receiving these gifts that like people know you enough and took the time to think about it and were like, oh, like they would like this, and I think that's
Yeah.
what means more to me is because it's just like stuff that I like, or maybe something that I said in passing that I was like, oh, I want that, but never like said anything about it since then, and like didn't really think about it
Yeah.
anymore, and then it's just like surprises you,
Yeah.
you know. And it's the
Last
best.
year, my parents got me a drone,
Mm-hmm.
and for people who may not know, I do a lot of filming stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and it came in handy a few times this year. And I was like, wow, it's amazing. It's something I like wanted, but didn't ever really say I wanted, but you know,
Yeah.
like, kind of like what you were saying. And I was like, what? That just knocked it out of the park. So like all-time favorite one for you is these 2 American Girl dolls.
I wouldn't say they're all my all-time favorites. Probably one of my favorites.
If you had an all-time favorite, like if you had to go to from like your memories, like it doesn't have to be like your favorite thing now, but at the time and looking back, it's like, oh my God.
You know, honestly, it's seriously every year. My parents have
They
always
just, like,
knocked
outdo
it out of the
themselves?
park. Yeah, I mean, I just can't ever think of a year that was less than the other. I mean, they've always just been amazing.
Yeah.
It's just always been amazing.
I think like a few standout ones for me.
Mm-hmm.
A few of the biggest standout things. I got like a Wii when that came out.
Oh, I did too. Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. I think I got one the same year you did. Probably it was like when they first came out.
Yeah, like
Yes, and Santa made a surprise appearance. That was about the year that I was like teetering on whether or not Santa was real or not.
Santa's real. Let's be honest with everyone out there. Santa is
well,
real.
when you're kind of going through that phase in life where you're like,
when you doubt that Santa is real,
you're totally skeptical of your parents. And the thing is, I still argue with my parents about that to this day because on Christmas Eve we always go to my aunt's house, and we were all like in the car getting ready to leave in our old Jeep, and my dad was like, oops, I forgot something, and wanted to grab it, and he was in there for like ever, and I'm like, my dad never spends that long to go get something. And then that night we came home, that was like the gift that I got, because the Wii was set up like when I got home from my aunt's.
Oh, cool.
And I still am like, you guys totally went in there and set it up, and they still argue with me, but yeah it was one of those words.
When I got my Wii, we'll get back to the gift thing, but when I got my Wii, it was actually a year that Purdue went to a bowl game, so we flew and went to go see them. And I remember we flew, and that was like on Christmas Day. We flew to this game. I was like 7 or 8. No, I was a little older, probably 10. Mm-hmm. And I remember we opened some of the gifts on Christmas Eve, and then when we got back, my parents were like, "Well, Santa will have been here by then, so we can kind of like hold our horses or whatever." And my parents gave it to me. They're like, "Okay, you can open one, but open this one." And it was a Wii, but I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever, because, I mean, the Xbox 360, I think, was out around the same time as PS4, but I've never been a big gamer. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh my God, Wii, it has like Mario, it had all these like motion control games.
Yes.
And I've always been more for like the retro stuff than like the first-person shooters. But I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. But then we had to fly, and I was like, no, I don't get to play with it. It's torture. That's a standout. And then I think a few other ones, they're standouts. I got this, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, for people who've listened. And I got this, it's like a Gollum Smeagol, so one half Gollum, one half Smeagol, and it's like just a statuette. And you press a button and you can like talk to it. It's like a magic 8-ball, but it's Gollum Smeagol answers.
Yes.
And it's the coolest thing. I have it set up in my room still. And it's more of it's just like a figurine or statue, like a limited edition thing, but it has like this voice function to it.
Yeah.
That was cool. And I think it might have been for my birthday, but do you remember, you probably had one, where it was like those, the cooking set, like the little one where you make like the Insta cake?
Oh, what are those called? There's a name.
It's like
for
the
those.
Easy Bake Oven kind of thing.
Easy Bake Ovens, yes.
I got a Harry Potter one where you make potions and
Sweet.
stuff. And there's like one of the potions, someone out there definitely has gotten this as well. Mm-hmm. And one of them was like this one where it's like chemicals, and you put this one chemical with the other, and you mix it with water, and it makes like jelly worms. And they tasted like this. It was like grape flavor with lime. And I was drinking those drink, like at Qdoba they have the make your own drink thing where you like press the touchscreen. Yeah. I mixed like 3 of them on accident. It tasted exactly like it, and it like was like whoosh back.
When I remember.
When it remember.
English is really hard for me today, guys. No, another one of my absolute favorites was I used to be a flautist. I played flute for a long time.
A fluter?
Yes, a fluter. Played it for a long, long, long time, and had gone, I think I probably at this point played for like 8 years. I mean, it's a long time. And for those of you who don't know, flutes have like flat keys with metal covering them, and then as you like progress or get better in flute playing, they become keyless or holeless in the keys. So there's like a hole in each one of the keys that you press down.
So it presses multiple ones?
No. So it's really hard. This is so hard to explain to someone without like
look this
pictures.
Up, so.
Look up. Oh my gosh, the name is left me.
Flute.
That's definitely not how you spell flute.
How you spell flute?
F-L-U-T.
Oh.
Like a flute. Open hole. I'm sorry. It's called open hole flute. So I had really worked closely with one of the professors at a local university. She was the teacher I had for flute, and so that's a standard. And then they remove the center of the key, and it's just like a hole. So I progressed enough in my flute playing to kind of graduate to the open hole, and they have a much sweeter, more beautiful sound. And they're very complicated to figure out at first, because you don't realize when you roll your fingers off the keys, and if you do, it doesn't make sound anymore. And so it's definitely a new thing. But my parents surprised me with an open hole flute with a D foot, which means it's got an extended key.
Yeah, there's like the extra piece at the end.
Yes, and it had a golden lip plate. And it was like...
That's like a big gift kind of thing.
Yes, it was just absolutely beautiful. I mean, actually, I had a picture of the one that I got. It was up a little bit. It was like right there. Go down a little bit.
Like that.
Yes.
That's really cool looking.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are listening, I'm looking at pictures of flutes on Google Images.
Yeah, and it was so cool. I love that flute, honestly. It was absolutely beautiful. So
I think that's actually really cool. On that, like getting a gift that's about a hobby that you have or like a performance thing.
Yeah.
One of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten was not a gift I got, if that makes sense. So when I was sailing when I was younger in Orange Bowl, there's always a raffle for boats. And my mom bought tickets for a laser, which is an Olympic class of boat. You can look it up if you're wondering. But I won. And I just remember she's like, hold these tickets for good luck. And there's like an end of the regatta party.
Yeah.
And we're all kids. I was like 14, 15. And I just remember I was holding the tickets. And they're like, the winner of the laser full rig is Russell Mullane. And I just remember I was like, what? That's me. And I walked up there like, how do you feel about your new laser? And I'm like, good. They're like, do you know how to sail laser? I'm like, not yet.
Yeah.
And
you have to learn soon.
That was one of the coolest Christmas gifts ever. Because it's something that you weren't even expecting. It's one of those things that's like you win a raffle. It's like winning the lottery. You're just like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some of the coolest things. What's like the coolest thing you've gotten someone?
Oh, that's hard. I'm not sure. I guess I don't really think about like
things that you've like got for people.
Yeah, like I think about it in the moment, but I think over time I just kind of forget about them a little bit. But I think I forget about them over time. I
think one of the coolest things, in my opinion, that I got for someone, there's a friend I had. If you guys heard that, I was
so sorry.
There's a gift I got from a friend from my old university that he was a huge Game of Thrones fan, like bigger than I am. And I got him this. So if you guys are Game of Thrones fans, there's different houses and they all have their banners. And there's this thing I found online where you can get banners. So I got him like the 7 or 8 big houses like Stark, Targaryen, that stuff. But then there's another thing you could do in this package deal, and you could put their last name on there and kind of pick an emblem for them. So I had the main banners. They're like pennants for like sports, and then I got one with his last name. I'm not going to say his last name because for obvious reasons, but yes. I did that for him, and that was one of those things where I went all out to try to find something that really meant something to him because he's a huge fan. Yeah. But that's the thing I did. I don't know. That's just one of those ones I'm like, I don't like being bragging, but I'm like, yeah, I outdid myself on that one. I think that's the peak of what I've done. It's all downhill from here, guys. It's over. But since it is the end of the year, it is December 25th right now. Let's do a recap of our favorite things from 2017. Just like a few highlights of just things that we've done or just things that were like, oh, that was awesome. 2017 has been a crazy, crazy year.
Yeah, it's been for sure crazy. Well, I started working on my degree towards 3D animation, so that was definitely a switch up. I'd always kind of, I think, gone into majors that I was more concerned about making money with, and finally decided to put a big old middle finger up to that
and do something you have like a passion for.
Do something that I actually enjoy. Yeah, so I think it's a really good move in the right direction here. So it'll be fun, but I'm still working it out. So
I think a big one was we went to Lollapalooza again.
We did. That was a very fun part of our year.
If you guys don't know, Lollapalooza is a big music festival in Chicago, and I think this was like my 8th year going, and Emma and I have gone 2 years in a row now. So yeah, Emma did a good thing. What's the big thing in my year? I moved to Los Angeles. That was big.
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was there for a hot second. And I made a movie. That's the thing that I did this year. I forget about that.
Yeah.
That's maybe going to film festivals. I don't know.
Yeah. I got a pretty sweet job.
You got a dog.
I got 2 dogs.
Yeah.
One of them's not home yet. But, yeah, I got a new full-time job working about 50 hours a week with benefits. And at my age, that's pretty solid. So that's cool. Pretty stoked about that, actually.
That's a big thing.
It is. And then, like I said, I got a dog in May. And then I'm getting another puppy next week. He will be old enough to leave mama. So his name is Finnegan. And he's a Yorkie. And he weighs 10 ounces right now. So he's a little tiny fella. And he's real cute.
He is very cute. He looks like a little Ewok.
He does look like an Ewok.
What's another highlight of the year? I have some like funny, almost negative highlights that are just like, it's almost funny now. But yeah, I'm trying to think. What else have I done? I don't know. I mean, I got into doing this podcast. I've kind of expanded doing more creative things because I'm sort of like, if people don't like it, they can walk on kind of thing. So I've been doing more creative things, making more videos for my portfolio. I've had Emma help me with a lot of videos.
Yes.
What else has been really cool? I moved to a new apartment. I don't know.
I moved to a tiny house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely, with the help of my parents, of course, because I am definitely not like an electrician or plumber. Like I'm.
She's not an electrical.
Yeah, I'm not an electrical. So I needed some help, and I, with the help of people, managed to build a tiny house and now live in it. So that's cool.
But yeah, that's actually, it's really cool. It looks like a big Pinterest picture. Seriously,
I
it does.
will be honest, I'm pretty proud of it. It's so cool. Like I said, I couldn't have done it without help, but I mean, it's one of my quote-unquote greater accomplishments this far in my life. Like,
yeah, I think it's really cool.
It's kind of like starting from scratch, and it's kind of crazy to think about that because like whenever you've gotten a house, I'm sure like most of you, it's like pre-built.
Not even furnished.
Yeah, it's like pre-built, so like you don't really have a lot of decision, but when someone puts it in front of you, like, what direction do you want your toilet to face? You don't really think about that, and it does add some like...
like where do you want like your lights and stuff?
Yeah, and it adds to like some thought, that you wouldn't really think of before. It's kind of cool, because like it's nice to look at it and be like, wow, like this is something that I did.
Literally made it.
Yeah, and it's very much so an accomplishment. So yeah, that's been really fun.
What are big things that have happened this year?
They're not even to be big. They're going to be like,
yeah, I'm just trying to think of... my family got another dog.
Look back at 2017.
Yeah, my family got another dog, which is cool.
They also lost a dog.
I did also lose a dog,
sad.
Which is very sad.
Yeah.
She was 17.
We lost our 18-year-old dog this year, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's always sad, but they had a good run. Like 17, 18 for a dog is... It's almost more sad because they're older, but they had a good life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, what else kind of happened this year? It's kind of all blur.
It's actually really sad because at my vet clinic, when you go in there, they have a candle, and next to the candle is a little like framed sign, and it says, "Please like keep your voice down, or please be quiet when this candle is lit for someone is saying goodbye to their best friend." And it's like when they're like putting a dog down or whatever, and the family's in there with it. I'm like, oh my god!
You just made everyone on this thing so depressed.
It makes me want to tear up every time I look at it because it's like I'm always in there with my dogs, and I'm always like, oh no.
I'm sorry if anyone's listening to this on Christmas and they wanted something happy and Emma just depressed you.
It just is something that popped in my head. But
no, definitely. I guess it's a thing.
Speaking of puppies, you wouldn't really realize it, but getting a teacup puppy, it like has some challenges. Try finding a collar that fits one of those dogs because it's not a thing. They're like... It's
like you have to get a cat collar.
Those like... They're not even... What? Okay, so the... I think it's a quart of milk, the little half... No, it's a half gallon, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So it's 2 quarts. A half gallon of milk, and they have the little ring.
Yes.
That's like as big as my dog's neck is. And so I'm like,
you should get him like a guinea pig collar.
I don't make guinea pig collars.
I'm just saying. You should get him a guinea pig
collar.
collar.
There's this really cool lady on Etsy. Shout out to you. I don't remember what your shop name is, but you make some super cute dog clothes. And they're super small, so Finnegan gets a sweater.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah, pretty fun.
What else happened? I don't know. A bunch of things happened, good and bad. I mean, that's anyone's year. But I think on the whole, it was a pretty solid year. A lot of like solid, good things happened. A lot of like forward progression in your life kind of thing.
Yeah, it was
like
a very
positive
like
forward progression.
Progressive year. That's probably the best way to state it. Progressive.
Yeah.
Which is good. You definitely want to have like
You don't want to go backwards.
You don't want to have regress in anything, but yeah, fun times.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. What are some of my favorite things I've done this year? Like besides that, favorite movies.
One of my favorite things this year was hitting up multiple ramen spots with you.
Oh yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I love ramen, and I'm not talking top ramen, which I guess is also good. But I like. I authentic, maybe that's the right word, but I like ramen as a dish at a restaurant, like if you go to a ramen joint, and with like the egg in it and like the bamboo shoots and the whole thing. And so I got into ramen when I was living in Los Angeles because there's a ramen place down the street from me called Tatsu, and they knew my name. Like I literally went there like every day. So when I got back, I was like, I need to find a new ramen place. And one of my buddies, Sean, shout out to you if you're listening to this, showed me a few ramen places just because he also likes ramen. And then I was like, Emma, you got to try this. And she got into ramen. So now our thing is whenever we have the time, we are going to find a new ramen place. But I think we found a permanent spot in downtown Chicago that is, it blew my expectations out of the water.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. We actually had it. We had a little, like, out on the town date night kind of thing, and we were hitting up some really fun spots. And one of them, on top of the ramen, was a place called Bombo Bar. And if any of you...
It's on Facebook
are
video.
Part of it, yes. Please go to Bombo Bar. You will not be disappointed. They have all sorts of, like, designer hot chocolates and hot ciders, and I think they're called bombinos or bombinis. It's like this stuffed donut, and they give you like a little plastic bottle with like chocolate sauce or caramel, and you can inject the donut yourself before you eat it, so it's still warm.
Yeah,
and it's like a little walk-up spot. There's not like a
it's like one of those
restaurant attached to it necessarily.
Yeah, it's legitimately actually a hole in a wall.
Yeah, it's literally the coolest place ever.
No,
it's amazing drinks.
And if you guys don't kind of get what she's saying, it's literally a hot chocolate that they serve in this big, like, kind of throwaway mug, and there's whipped cream on top, and they put like a donut on your straw and like these cookies in it. It's one of those like way extra. Ton
of like whipped cream, and like I got the s'mores, so it was like milk chocolate, and like it had marshmallow cream, whipped cream on top that had been like burned kind of to make it like a campfire, and then it had like chocolate graham cracker sticks in it and a sugar donut on the straw, and I mean it was very holiday. Good. Yeah, it's so good. He got hot cider.
Yeah, I'm not a big chocolate person.
Yeah, he got the apple cider.
It's like it was amazing. The hotter apple cider.
Yeah, it had all this extra stuff like caramel bits and things in it.
It was very, very good. Would recommend.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a really good thing that we did recently.
Yeah.
And right
we
now,
went to the Eagle's Nest.
Oh yeah, we went to this restaurant in Indianapolis. I think we have talked about it.
That was really fun.
That was super fun. I'm trying to think what other what
we found out the miracle of Toscano's.
Toscano's. Oh, the Brazilian place.
Yeah.
It's a Brazilian barbecue place, and if any of you don't know what Brazilian barbecue is, it's essentially like it's like a steakhouse, but
it's just meat on skewers, and they keep coming, man. I mean, it's just like you don't get a break.
And it's like 15 different kinds of authentic-esque Brazilian style.
More than 15.
Oh, okay. So
it's a huge list.
It's a X number of like grilled Brazilian meat, so like steak, pork, some chicken, turkey, sausages, fish, ham. That's pig.
You're right, that is a pig.
Yeah. And they bring it over, and you have like the red chip and the green chip, and if your like green chip is out, it means they're like cool with bringing you more, and if the red chip is out, it's you're done, or you want to take a break. And if you've ever seen Bridesmaids, that's where they all get food poisoning. Is a Brazilian restaurant.
Actually, it is, but you won't at Toscano.
No, you won't.
I've never gone to those Toscanos, and it's you actually get meat sweats at this restaurant.
Yeah,
like
it's real.
It's so much, and it's like they keep just sawing it off on your plate, and
it's kind of like tapas, where you just keep getting appetizers because you don't get a full plate; you get like a bite of each one.
Yeah.
And it's really nice if you kind of are indecisive about what you want to have for dinner that night.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to just have a little bit of everything. Yeah. But yeah, in general, it was a good year. It's been a good Christmas.
Yeah, it's been a good Christmas.
Even though it is still Christmas, I guess there's still time to ruin it. But it is. It's been really good, And I'm really stoked that we started this podcast because it's something I've wanted to do for like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just stole someone's microphone. Not really. He let me borrow it and he just hasn't asked for it back. But now we're not even using it anymore.
That'd be cool.
You know what?
That'd
If he listens to this, I've texted him a bunch of times. I'm like, dude, do you want your microphone back? Dude, do you want your microphone back? He's like, yeah, I'll come get it. And
Well, he wants it.
But he's never come get it. He's like, no, I'll pick it up. You don't have to drive it over. And it's just sitting on a table now, just sitting there. I'm like, dude, are you even going to pick it up? And we just kind of haven't bumped into each other, but I'm going to have to track him down and be like, take this back.
Yeah.
But we're using a different one now, so that crisis has been averted.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm stoked we started this, and I think something we're going to do starting next year, which is in 5-6 days, is we're going to do a video portion-y kind of thing to it. It's going to be separate from the podcast, but same name, See What Sticks. Mm-hmm. And I think that'll be a fun addition and more of an interactive-y kind of thing, where there's shorter episodes, but we're going to like do questions, do more of a news game showy kind of style rather than just us talking at a microphone. Mm-hmm. But we're doing this as well. We're not going to stop this. We're going to go episode 10,000, baby. That's where we're going.
Woo-hoo.
10,000, 100,000. It's like in Rick and Morty where it's like, we're going to do this season 9 seasons of this every day. But yeah, that's kind of what we're going for, just forever, until people just either hate us or kick us off. Yeah.
Figure it out.
But I hope everyone else has had a great break as well.
Yes.
And I know we're going to do a New Year's episode where we're going to make our 2018 predictions. It's aliens, guys. That's my prediction. Spoiler alert. Is we're going to contact aliens 2018.
Shh, don't tell them everything yet.
Yeah. But if anyone has any questions, we are going to do a Q&A episode eventually, like a full 2-hour episode of Q&A. So if anyone does have questions, you always can email the show. The email's always in the description. It's letusseewhatsticks@gmail.com if anyone had a question. But yeah, thank you for listening for the last 8 weeks. And we'll have much more. And yeah, Emma, do you have anything to say?
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas to everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a fun, safe, relaxing time with your family.
Yes.
And yeah, spend time with your family. Yeah. Call them. Have fun. And if you're not with your family, give them a shout out.
Yeah.
Am I going to do a shout? Oh, coming up on the podcast, we're going to try to do one with another person. He's going to only be on for like a week. It's one of my buddies. His name's Ryan. But if he's not on the podcast, we're sorry. We're hoping he is able to like work into the schedule. But if not. But yeah, let's hope everyone out there is having a great time. Thank you so much for listening. This was a very disjointed let's talk about Christmas. One last thing. What's your favorite Christmas topper? Like your tree topper?
I don't really have a favorite.
My mom found one that was a Death Star and it lights up and spins. It's $100. That's my favorite. We don't even own it. It's my favorite.
Nice.
But yeah. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great week until we talk to you again. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode. And yeah, thank you for listening to See What Sticks, a podcast about everything and nothing.
Bye.
Toodles!